Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is a game that I admittedly forgot existed until seeing it pop up on the PlayStation Store a few weeks ago. But to be fair, that's pretty fitting given that I don't even remember how I got the game to begin with as a child. I definitely didn't buy it, and I don't recall getting it as a gift. It was kind of just one of those things that was always there, like, a birthmark or the knowledge that I'm someday going to be killed by a washing machine. Nonetheless, I remember being really fond of it when I was younger, and while gems from the past can oftentimes be disappointing to revisit after losing a battle to the passage of time, I was curious to find out if this game broke the mold. For the uninitiated, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is a collectathon-style game somewhat reminiscent to Banjo-Kazooie and Jak and Daxter, which is to say that the developers thought, hey, let's just rip off Banjo-Kazooie and Jak and Daxter, and then proceeded to do exactly that. It's a game that wears its inspirations on its sleeve, from its simple and satisfying gameplay loops to its initially cute and linear levels that would eventually progress into much more sandbox-style worlds riddled with angst, as well as its inclusion of a love interest that I assume was the primary reason a handful of young players eventually grew up into furries. Something which, of course, I am not, Mom. The overall hook of the game is in you playing through levels where you're tasked with accomplishing a series of goals in order to receive different collectibles that in turn help you power on one machine that can open more levels for more collectibles, and another machine for unlocking new boomerangs. That way you can run around and pretend you're some kind of lame made-up superhero like Hawkeye, except instead of shooting arrows, you only have the ability to throw Oh shit. The collectibles themselves range on a scale from perfectly serviceable all the way down to wow, this really feels like a waste of fucking time. While both completing quests and exploring the environment are fulfilling ways to unlock something, some of the items you're tasked with finding seem like they're just thrown places without a rhyme or reason. The sense of accomplishment in finding a hidden item means a whole lot less when it's just sitting out in the open as if somebody dropped a piece of honeycomb cereal on the ground while walking by. Additionally, another design choice that they decided to lift from their peers are the common items such as feathers, bananas, or in this case opals being finite collectibles rather than just a basic currency you can use to earn a new life or something. This means that in every level, which range from layered, multi-path jungles to wide open underwater areas, you have to collect 300 tiny little orbs if you want to 100% the game. And it's not like these are magnetized to you, meaning that you could just accidentally stumble past one that's a part of a line underwater or something, and then good luck coming across that thing again without combing through every single inch of the level. And while I make fun of the game for all that it took from other titles, it's the new things it brought to the table that vary the most in terms of quality. In fact, undoubtedly the worst inclusion in the game is a collectible solely found scattered around every level in damn near transparent boxes. Which, score one for unique ideas, I guess, but if my graphic design final project taught me anything, it's that artistic vision is not a worthy excuse for needlessly low opacity. The problems with these are pretty obvious from the get-go. Most notably is that wandering around inspecting every pixel of the skybox to find out if that's the faint outline of a box you see or just a smudgy fingerprint from tilting your screen is not the textbook definition of fun. However, their built-in solution doesn't even seem to rectify that. Late in the game, you're rewarded with a boomerang that acts as a sort of sonar, which beeps louder the closer you get to a box, and a way to see these items while aiming down the sights. But this doesn't fix the first problem as much as it just changes it. As now, you get to wander from spot to spot wondering if that faint ping is just getting louder, or softer, or if you're just hearing things at this point. An easy fix would have been to have the boxes visible at all times, as long as you had these boomerangs equipped, given that you'd still be trading away the benefits of using your other, much better weapons. But even then, that doesn't necessarily make these fun or rewarding to discover, especially given that there's so many of them. I'd been doing just fine working my way towards 100%ing the game when I came across a level that had 29 of these things hidden around and decided, well, there goes that pipe dream. And yeah, I did go back and find them all because I hate myself, but that's much more of an indictment on my life than it is a sign of praise for the game. If not aiming to collect every single item in the game, however, the world is super nice, varied, and fun to explore. In fact, I'd say that its basic premise, albeit simple, and its world and characters are some of its best and most unique elements. It does a really great job at portraying the cartoony and oft-overlooked part of the world in Australia and shows a love for both its beauty and its horror, oscillating from cute anthropomorphic bilbies to its weirdly and traumatically photorealistic spiders. As for Ty, he gets the job done, but I wouldn't say that he's as much of a character as he is the absence of a character. Now mind you, I'm not going into these games looking for deep and complex protagonists, but at the very least you can assign these guys a characteristic. Ty's one step away from a silent protagonist, and in fact, I kinda have a conspiracy theory that he was at one point, given that every single one of his lines could be taken out and the dialogue would go on without a hitch, especially given that 99% of what he says are just simply approvingly responding to other characters.
Righto, you're on, mate. Shoe ripper! No worries, shoe ripper! Sweet, sweet, you beauty. Righto then. Cool! No worries, you beauty! Unreal. Whoa, you beauty! Yeah, okay, no worries. Grouse as! Struth! Alright! Whoa, you beauty! Wicked! Sweet bonza!
However, I do enjoy his design all the way down to his weird-ass little hammerhead shark mouth, and while he doesn't bring much in terms of character, I will happily take that over him never shutting up or having that trademark 3D platformer snark and cockiness. It's actually what I'm more nervous about looking ahead to the future games in the series that I've never played, where he looks like he thinks he's pretty big shit for somebody with the same name as the Beanie Babies company. But as a whole, the game definitely doesn't take itself seriously, which is a nice change of pace, and it's got some really great moments to boot. None more notable than the level where you have the Lyrebird character who you have to follow around and he always tells you the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. Plus, he's voiced by a store brand Gilbert Gottfried.
Jump to the other side!
What else can you ask for?
While I don't hold much against the game for weirdly introducing antagonists right at the end with no build-up or its, at best, mediocre final boss fight, what is a lot more difficult to ignore is the sound design, which is pretty bad. You got the enemies with only one loud, awful sound effect. You got the characters with like one line who just repeat it over and over again.
Here I am, here I am, here I am.
And you got a soundtrack that feels as though they just used the 30-second preview track for each and every level. Now, to be fair, the game actually looks pretty good given its age, and the remaster definitely cleaned up a lot of things, but if you're going back through a level to look for collectibles and you're able to keep the music volume turned up, you are a much stronger person than I am. Now, the question at hand, does Ty the Tasmanian Tiger hold up? Kind of. Do I think it's a classic that stands the test of time? Not particularly, but did I have a fun time while playing it? Yeah, I really did. While definitely rough around the edges, the game works as a little comfort blanket to distract yourself from the sci-fi hellscape we live in nowadays. As long as you don't go in with the express intent on completing everything that it has to offer, it can make for a relaxing weekend where you can just sit back, relax, and harken back to the good old days, when you were free and you didn't have to worry about student debt or pretending to know what a 401k is, and instead could just play games all hours of the day when not doing homework, constantly fearing ridicule from classmates, and experiencing frequent and uncomfortable changes to your body. And actually, on second thought, never mind, fuck that. Being an adult is cool. I don't want to go back there. Bye-bye!